Unsyndicated presents What the Puck with Sean Baligian.
What is up? So glad you could join us. He is Mike. I'm Sean. The Red Wings are on fire. It is amazing what can happen when you make a coaching change. All of a sudden, 5 wins in a row. And I said this last week, Mike. I didn't want to get into the pleasantries. Let's just start talking hockey because he and I have to go to a game tonight. I said this last week. In my humble opinion, even the loss to Toronto where they got down 0-5, even the loss to Toronto, hey, Hockey Town, even the loss to Toronto, I didn't think they played poorly. I really didn't. I didn't think that they played poorly. You don't want to get down 0-5. You don't want to lose 5-2 eventually. But you know what? It was a kick in the pants that this team needed. I want to be very careful, and this is where I want to get your thoughts. All is not magically fixed. They did not become all of a sudden a real competitor. But you know what? I think when you look at the rest of the Eastern Conference right now, there were a couple teams that a couple weeks ago were like, oh my gosh, it's going to be another year. Well, now, you know what? You can allow yourself to think maybe we can get in the playoff.
Yeah. I mean, it's weird. We keep saying it like this is right where we were last year, where we came on and we said, will they make the playoffs? You can start having that conversation again. And you're right. I mean, as soon as the Toronto game, it wasn't their best game, but there was some different things going on there. Then obviously the comments after just play effing hockey. They had the longest practice of the year, and now they're on a 5-game win streak. Now, I will say, maybe Winnipeg, but the only playoff team I believe they played in the wins was a nice wins. But hey, they're doing something they weren't doing, Sean. They're beating teams that they should beat, and there's a different shine on this team when they step on the ice, and they're all talking about the life is back in the locker room.
Mike, you know what? If anything, I think it puts into the light what guys like you and I had been saying since the beginning of the year too. And I'm going to say this again. I think the people, and there are plenty of them out there, I think the people that are laying all the blame on Coach Lalonde are false. I have no other way to say that. But I think it casts a light on what guys like you and I have been saying for the last 3 months, okay? There wasn't a spark. There really wasn't. There was not a spark. And the compete level did kick up. Forget about a notch. It kicked up at least a couple notches.
And it really put a bright light on what actually was going on in that locker room. And for those, I agree with you, for those that want to come in and lay it all on Lalonde and what he was doing and, you know, blame him for that, this is the same thing that I've been saying even about it. Like, there's someone in charge. There's someone whose job is to see that and notice that and make changes. And at some point, the fingers got to be pointed and asked, why did it take so long? Because I think that's a lot of what you see. It was not going right. And if you let something not go right that long, that's what it looks like. It's to no one's fault except for, I believe, the head guy. And now it looks a lot brighter coming out of it, but I think that was just a bad situation that went on too long, Sean.
Dave said wanting to see Casper come on strong. I think that is part of the bigger equation right now, Dave. I don't think there's any two ways about that. Look, I hate to reiterate this, and I'm not saying that it's going to end the way that the Tigers did, okay? But we've heard all these magical names for so many years now. We have. And, you know, and unless you're one of those guys that gets down in the weeds, that makes an effort to watch the CHL, that makes an effort to watch national hockey and international hockey, you don't know who a lot of these people are. You don't. You hear their names. You hear people talking about them. Mike, I have always been of the opinion, and I say this, please consider the source. I am somebody, if somebody asks me about something, we had a high school coach do this the other day. I swear to God, I didn't intend to bring this up, but we had a high school coach do this the other day. Shout out to Coach Garrow at Northern Michigan. And he asked me about a particular player, and I told him point blank, I haven't seen him.
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk about that which I haven't seen. It's very important. That's always been an important thing for me. So hi, Ellen. But that's the way I was all the years I was doing either the OHL or doing some college hockey things or doing the USHL. If somebody asked me about a guy, if I saw him and had a good take, I'd go, yeah, this is what I saw out of him. But you have to remember, I only saw him 4, 5, 6 times. Or guys like you and I that are in day one at the World Junior Championship.
Yes.
Trust me, we're in day one, okay? We're watching all the games. Well, you can give an opinion that way. But now, Mike, we're getting down to that time where all the magical names that we've heard about, people are having the opportunity to see them now. And quite frankly, to base their own opinion on that which they've seen, as opposed to, quite frankly, there are a lot of usual suspects out there that are going to tell you wait till you see this Hubenschmidt kid. He is unbelievable. This Hubie, oh my goodness gracious. It really does grow to shout out Hubie. It does grow to mythical proportions, though, when you start talking about things. Now people can formulate their own opinion on a lot of these guys.
Oh, absolutely. And we've got to start seeing them come up. And this obviously started with wanting to see Casper and getting to see them. And that was what I wrote down is, we just got some data points and some time to take a look at some future Red Wings. I'm wondering how Hey Hockeytown is feeling about what they saw in the World Juniors. I think there was some good, Sean. I think there was some concerning too on my side. I don't know about you, because I would really like to see if Wings fan is a little shaky on Trey Augustine.
You know what was interesting? And I'm glad that you brought that up, because for 2 reasons. Because number one, I think you saw how strong Michigan State is in his absence. Mm-hmm. That's number one. Okay. And number 2, you know what you saw? And I'm not changing my opinion on him. Okay. I think that Trey is one of the best young prospects. I think that he is the goaltender of the future. I don't mean any disrespect to Sebi, not his Sebi, the other Sebi. Mm-hmm. I don't mean any disrespect to Sebastian Kosa. I think but you know what you saw? You saw what happens to a lot of young goaltenders, okay? There were a couple times that I felt he struggled during the course of the tournament. Mm-hmm. He had a bad game. He bounced back incredibly well. And let's face it, the gold medal game wasn't his A game.
I don't think the tournament was his A game.
No.
And it happened. I don't think it's a predictor of who he's going to be, because we've said it before. Even if he were to drop out of Michigan State and join the Wings right now, he's 4 years away. Goalies are a 3 to 4 year project coming out. My concern, I don't know if anybody else had a concern with it, was a consistent miss that he had. And that glove side miss that he had was reoccurring, and it brought flashbacks. And I don't know if anybody else, it was Peter Mrazek flashbacks.
I know where you're going now,
because he was short side glove goal over and over and over. And I was sitting there thinking, and I again, it is what it is, but it was something that I noticed, and I couldn't wait to get here and just see, is anybody else concerned with that? With how much weight is being levied on this young man for the Wings' future.
Well, and as you know, there was a certain goaltender who, quite frankly, should be in the Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. I think you know who I'm talking about, where everybody thought they had the book on him too. I mean, right? This is how you got to beat the guy. And a lot of times you really do have to reinvent yourself. I'm not saying that you become a butterfly goaltender at a late juncture of your career, but when that book gets out, where do you think guys are going to go? Where do you think guys are going to? It's just like the same thing happens for a forward, right? Mike, you and I were talking about this. Gosh, this is really weird how like some of our personal kids today have fallen in love with the 5-hole.
Yep.
Why? I don't know. Seriously, do you have a reason for it?
I don't. Chicks dig the 5-hole. I mean, I don't know. It's a conversation. It's fine. I mean, it is an actual conversation. It is an actual conversation I've had with my own son, because he's a 5-hole shooter. Yep. A nonstop 5-hole shooter. Another thing, where else the kids short side.
Mhm.
We were talking with Coach Staz
All the time.
short
My
side,
gosh.
and it'll end up burning you more than you score on them. But they're going to watch the film, and that's going to happen.
This and the reason why I bring that up is because, like, if I'm a goaltender and I know that there's this weird fixation on 5-hole, I'm one step ahead of you.
Mhm.
I am. I'm literally one step ahead of you. And conversely, if when people start to figure out, oh, he's struggling there, you don't think they watch tape?
Yep.
This isn't Roger Nielsen. Shout out Captain Video.
Yep.
I'm showing my age, but if you kids aren't aware of Roger Nielsen, and I even went Don Cherry and threw you kids in there. If you guys aren't familiar
Just don't
with
say you people.
I might throw you people in there, but if you kids out there, listen. Captain Video used to pull out the VCR, but all jokes, everybody knows now. You don't think every one of his future opponents aren't focusing on that? You don't think everybody everywhere is focusing on that? So, Mike, that was a very astute point by you.
And well, I mean, and then I couldn't stop though. I came Captain
by all
Video. I
means,
was
don't.
watching to see. There were a lot of glove side attempts. So I didn't know if people were nervous about it. I wasn't reading a lot about it, but it was something I was noticing. And I said, the good news is he's still a kid. He's got a lot of time. Lot of time before we're gonna have to be worried about that.
Want to look a little bit at the pecking order. Has the pecking order changed? I think all of a sudden in front of our eyes, something that I've talked about the last couple of years is starting to come into focus. And I'm going to pat myself on the back a little bit and see what Mike's take on this is. But first, let's talk about our friends at Legacy Partners. All hockey fans have had great conversations with each and every one of them. And did you know that thousands of Metro Detroiters have already called Legacy Partners to get help with their home and auto insurance? Our friends at Legacy are one of Southeast Michigan's top independent insurance agents, and they provide a full-service, one-stop solution for all of your insurance needs, personal and business, large and small. Legacy has helped our listeners by fixing mistakes other agents have made, asking the right questions to get the right coverage put in place to properly protect you. Yes, help save you some money at the same time. Chances are, if you haven't checked your policies in the last year, you're probably paying too much and you could be underinsured. So what are you waiting for? Give Legacy a chance to help with your home, your cars, life insurance, Medicare enrollment, or your business insurance needs. Call them today at 586-209-4106 or visit legacypartnersins.com. Mike, I've said this for a couple years, whether it be one of the various media things that I do, that we were about to see the changing of the guard in the division, in the Atlantic Division. And if you remember, I said at the beginning of the year, I don't think Florida's going anywhere. Tampa is starting their slow descent, okay? They're not going anywhere just yet, but they're starting their slow descent. Boston's a mess right now. Did you see them getting booed like mad last night after Edmonton shut them out? And guess what? 3 of the 4 bottom feeders who have been trying to do it the quote-unquote right way are all of a sudden really making a push for the playoff. You've got the Senators. Wings beat them last night. Obviously, the Wings. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention the Habs, who have been absolutely on fire. And I'll tell you what, they might have a little goaltending controversy brewing as well. Montembeault isn't the guy, no matter how much the French media tries to cram him down your throat. He is not the guy. He is not a guy. He is a backup goaltender. I will say that until I'm blue in the face. Dobish has been unbelievable. It's only 2 games, and we were actually driving back from the hockey game. And you know what a good friend he is? You know what a good friend he is? I'm driving, and he was literally holding the game up on the phone for me. So we watched the end of regulation and overtime in the shootout.
And it wasn't the saves he was making and what he was doing. It was the confidence that he was playing with
100%.
in his second game.
100%.
His first game being a shutout against Florida. But, Sean, this is something me and you have talked about for a while. And again, I don't know what's going on in Buffalo. So we're just going to leave them alone.
There's something in the water. It reminds me of Edmonton.
Yep.
Before Edmonton got McDavid, there's just, and even the first few years, there's something in the water. I'll leave it at that.
There's something gone there. So we're going to forget about them. So it's not the 4, it's the 3. Ottawa, Montreal, and Detroit. And when we're talking about it, Boston's in trouble. at some point the shine's got to wear off on Tampa, and you've got 3 exciting teams to watch. I'm sorry, they're young, they're feisty, and they're coming, and I enjoy watching them on a nightly basis. Ottawa, Montreal, and Detroit. I mean, it's coming. This is what we were talking about. And if you go back, Sean, 2 weeks ago, it didn't look good. It didn't. Ottawa was actually in a playoff spot, but the other ones were right there with Buffalo.
Montreal was a disaster.
They were holding hands with Buffalo.
They had that game. I think I told you they had their come to Jesus meeting. They lost to the Penguins 9-2, and they gave up 6 goals in the third period in like non-competitive crap. Okay. And all of a sudden, and you know what? It's like you're seeing with the Red Wings. I think it starts with your leadership. By the way, props to Dylan Larkin. Dylan Larkin's been incredible. Can we all say that? Props to Dylan Larkin. But I think it becomes contagious because all of a sudden Kirby Dach, who has been sleeping for months, he really has been. He's been all of a sudden Kirby Dach looks engaged, and all of a sudden some of these pieces that you're waiting for something, they look engaged. And I'm going to tell you what, right now you may as well end the Norris Trophy conversation, or not Norris Trophy, Calder. It's over. Lane Hudson's the rookie of the year. End. Period. Norris is a little premature. I caught myself there. That's wishful thinking. That's 2 years from now. That kid, Mike, he is unbelievable. Unbelievable.
No, yes, you're absolutely right. And exciting, and his brother was just as exciting to watch in the World Juniors. It looked like a little mini him. But are we gonna have a conversation where all 3 of those teams are going to be in playoff contention? Because I'm telling you, the teams ahead of them, Pittsburgh, Columbus, Tampa, and Boston, the ones we got, Sean, there's no reason. Now, this is what I'm also going to say, and I know you got to get to a read here.
Hi, John.
Is that we have Detroit's got a month ahead of them that we'll talk about as we get to end the show. That I will have a conversation with people about Detroit February 1st.
I swear to God, he and I did not have this conversation ahead of time. Neil Rule and I were talking about that the other day on Woodward, and I said to him, can we all hold all our thoughts about where this is going until the end of the month? I said the exact same thing when I looked at that schedule. Let's just wait till the end of the month. Enjoy this. I'm not saying enjoy it, but let's not put that cart in front of the horse just yet.
Really enjoy it for the next 3 games.
Yes. Hey, if you are ready to take charge of your financial future, you need to look no further than the Wealth Advantage Group. They're also hockey guys, located in historic downtown Northville, owned by those 2 guys right there, Mike Husak on the left, Jeff Husak on the right. As a matter of fact, their nephew plays for our buddy Clint Robert.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Shout out to Easton. They understand that your financial goals are as unique as you are. That's why they offer personalized expert guidance to help navigate the complexities of financial planning. Now, whether you're saving for retirement, you're getting ready to sell your company, you're already in retirement, doesn't matter. They can help guide you through every step of your financial journey. They work with clients throughout all stages of life and have clients in over 20 different states. The investment world, it is a complex one. But if you're ready to start taking your finances more seriously, it might be time to work with the experts. Reach out to my friends, I'm also a client, at the Wealth Advantage Group at 248-773-8574, or check out their website at www.thewealthadv.com. Dave said the Sharks are going to be tough coming up. They are putting it together in San Jose. Every game is going to be tough pretty much. I'm with you. It's nice. There's a pulse, okay? There's a pulse. And I want to put this in its proper category. And if Steve Yzerman would hear, he would say the exact same thing. They are not in a position to win a Stanley Cup. They are not in a position to take some crazy wild run or anything like that. But you wanted to see progression. You wanted to see it out of the individuals. You wanted to see it out of this team. Mike, you can't deny we've seen that the next 3 weeks. Now let's see what happens the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they have been entertaining. Again, it's a fun watch. They're competing. They're intense. They're hard to play against. This sounds like the Wings team we were talking about last January and last February when we started the playoff talk. That's what's back. And again, I'm not poking fun at the teams that they beat. These are teams you have to beat. And so, yeah, these are the Chicago, Seattle, and San Jose game are going to be tight games. These are teams that are also struggling, kind of in the same boat they're in. These are games they have to win. But after that, Sean, you're talking 7 of 8 games are against playoff teams. And that is where the test is going to be.
Can I tell you along the lines of what you're just saying, and I told you this, and I'm not a gambler. By the way, check out their Off the Board show. If I were a gambler, I would have put a lot of money on the Chicago Blackhawks after that dog shit performance they had in the Winter Classic. And here we're talking about how well the Habs are playing, right?
Right.
Okay. The game after, and everybody was coming out saying, I'm embarrassed by this. This is terrible. They played the red hot Habs and had their way with them.
Yep.
That's the National Hockey League, man. And Chicago really is dog shit. Okay, they are. I can say that they're a piece of dog doo-doo. But that's the National Hockey League, and I think that's part of. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but that's part of what you're saying. Hey, when you think there's a given, think again. These guys are pros as well. These guys have some pride, and especially after a dog crap game. Yep. For all I know, maybe they had a bag skate,
Oh, absolutely. And it's no different than what we're seeing in Detroit. They've got a new coach. They're showing some life. They are a bad hockey team. There's not a lot there, but they're playing. That's an NHL hockey team. Every time they show up, unless they've quit on their coach, there's going to be a fight. They're going to be good games. And again, so this will be a good win. Chicago's coming into town. Chicago, Detroit, going to be a rival.
I want to get into the World Juniors a little bit. Obviously, Team USA wins the gold. I want to get your thoughts on Canada because I think it kind of reminds me. It kind of reminds me of the early part of the 21st century, and I'll tell you why. Let's tell you about Lindsay Broadwell first. When it comes time to get yourself a house, whether you're buying, selling, or both, you need to contact the right agent. Who do we recommend? Lindsay Broadwell. Say her name and she shall appear. Your house is probably the biggest investment you will ever make, and that's why you need a pro. Lindsay grew up on the mean streets of Northville and has expanded her team all over Southeast Michigan. She's an expert in all facets of the business, and when it's time to move, our friend Lindsay and her team will make sure you get the most out of your house and everything goes smoothly when finding your new home. Buyer, seller, even first-time buyers, doesn't matter. Make sure you contact Lindsay at BroadwellHomes.com. She will help you with everything from start to close. Licensed realtor at Real Broker LLC. Start your search today at BroadwellHomes.com. Mike, USA wins the gold. It was another tremendous World Junior Championship. If you didn't watch, shame on you. I'm serious. Shame on you. Yeah. I have no other way to say. Chances are, if you're watching this right now, you watched it. If you're going to take your time to watch two guys sit here and talk about the greatest game on earth, I'll never deviate from that. Chances are you watched it. If by some strange chance you were one of those people that didn't watch it, shame on you. It is arguably the best hockey tournament you'll see all year. And I say that knowing the Stanley Cup playoff exists.
I'm right there with you. We've stated it before because it is a look at what is to come and what is to come against the best. And then I love the look of the future. I love the kids in the full cages, these 16, 17-year-old kids that are coming on. And when you put your country's jersey on, Sean, we say it all the time. It is different.
I've watched it.
And it was awesome. And I mean, some people may have had the excuse, Sunday night they were watching the Lions game, but if you didn't have a second TV, or I had the iPad up there watching that, and I had a lot more eyes on the U.S. game going on. That was awesome. Now, I'll tell you what, I don't know, this is on topic, but when did they go to 3-on-3 overtime?
Yeah.
When did I miss that?
Yeah. What can you do? What?
I spent
reality, pal.
I spent a lot of time going, like my wife said, and I just kept saying, I can't believe this is 3-on-3, and especially 3-on-3 when it first came out. Look, it's something new and shiny. It's garbage. 3-on-3 hockey has gone garbage. It's been systemed and coached out,
especially in tournaments.
My point was I had no idea. I always thought it was 5-on-5. Were they going to go to a shootout?
I don't mind it. Listen, I don't mind it at all in the regular season. I really don't.
Right.
I don't. Whatever.
I got you.
Whatever. Yep. But no, it is depressing. I want to say this before we talk about Team USA, and you can't talk enough about what they've done and how other countries made fun of them. Okay, this reminds me of the early 21st century when a lot of people were wondering aloud what is wrong with Canada, because you had the 96 World Cup, which lost to a freaking American wagon. Okay. Then you had the disaster at Nagano. Can I say this? All right. I think it's a little bit of an overreaction. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear that. And I'll tell you why I think it's a little bit of an overreaction. There were a crap load of players that should have been there that couldn't be there. Okay. Now you include just a couple of those names, just a couple of them. We might be having a different conversation. Okay. I mean, take off a couple of the big guns from the US and we might be having a different conversation. Now, is it safe to say that the pack has come closer to the United States or to Canada? Absolutely. No doubt about it. Led by the USA. You and I are both fans of the Finns. I've said this 1,000 times. When I did the Five Nations, I don't know, 6-7 years ago, watching the Finns practice was fun. I remember I texted you and I said, dude, Coach Mitchell and I are literally watching this. This is fascinating. And you're seeing the fruits of their labor as well. But Mike, I quite frankly, I think it's much ado about nothing. I really, truly do. And I think you're going to see that in the NHL Four Nations tournament coming up. I really do. Canada's the favorite, right? Canada's the favorite. Oh, you're not feeling it, are you? Wow. Okay. Well, we'll find out. Good evening, Tom.
We're not. I mean, I'm sure.
Who do you like? Do you like the Americans?
Yeah.
Do you really?
I like the Americans. I would probably really like the Russians
too. That's a shame. I'm sorry. That's one.
But
does anybody disagree with us? The Russians should be in these tournaments. I'm sorry. They should have been in the World Junior Championship. They should be in the World Championship. They should be in the, it should be 5 gosh damn nations there. It should be. I'm sorry. I don't want the war. Putin bad. Go Ukraine. All that stuff. It has nothing to do with these players.
Yep.
Okay. I got it all.
Thank you very much. So you got it all out, even for me. No, I said it when we first talked about it, and I know we'll talk more about it as the tournament starts. But I like the Finn team. I like the Finns. I like what they've done on the international stage, and I like the U.S. And it gets down to goaltending, and I'm just not sold on what some of Canada is. They've got the names. They make you go ooh. They make you go ah. But when it comes down to it, I looked right at the goaltending, and that's where I think it's close, but that's where I'm not there.
All right. Team USA, I cannot say enough. I was very fortunate. I mean that in all sincerity, to work for the NTDP for 2 years. Just so many good people. Shout out to my buddy Scott Monahan. What they've done to change, legitimate change. The landscape of not just USA hockey, but international hockey. If you don't believe me, take a look at the back-to-back World Junior champions.
Absolutely. Sometimes you have to make those tough decisions, especially when they don't make sense sometimes, right? Kind of makes you like an inside joke thing here. Like, where's that Iavasile? You knew I was going there, right? You knew I was going there. Like sometimes you have to make tough decisions in order to make changes that matter. And I think of the same kind of thing that like people were afraid. You make these changes, people will just leave. They'll go, where are you gonna go? And if you make changes that impact it in the right way, guess where they're gonna come right back to you. And now you've got all the top players again. It will happen. So yeah, absolutely. Kudos to USA Hockey.
I like what David said. Russia should be in everything. Absolutely. And I want to make this crystal clear because trust me, I've had some people tell me this. Okay. Russia bad, Putin bad, war bad, hockey good. Hockey players that have nothing to do with the above aforementioned bad, good. It's not like it's not that because that's the world we live in now. Oh, so you're pro Putin? What the hell are you talking about? No, I'm pro hockey.
I'm pro Ovechkin.
These guys, yes, I'm pro Ovechkin. How's that? These guys had nothing to do with that crap, man. All right, anything else? Because he and I, you're never going to believe this, but we're going to a hockey game.
No, what I'm
really looking forward to.
I am stuck on. Let's talk February 1st about the Red Wings. It is nice that it's positive. It's nice that there's a new shine on this. I hope that shine hasn't worn off by February 1st and they can compete in some of these games against these playoff teams. But we'll see because it's easy when you're winning, Sean.
Yep.
Everything looks great when you're winning. what is going to happen if a losing streak starts, and what does that locker room start to look like? And also a question, I don't know if you've heard anything, being a little bit more in the know, is the length of Lions injury.
I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't know.
And because that
No,
what
I'd be
happens
lying
when
if
a
I told you
goalie
otherwise.
gets injured, what's the first thing people are going to want to know? Is Sebastian getting called up, and are they going to start him? And I want it because you know me. I love chaos. I love the look of chaos. If Kosa's called up and McClellan starts him, ooh, that finger's going to get pointed right at Lalone, how many times that he had him and he did not start him. So it'll be interesting to see how much pull he has in getting him up here and seeing what kind of a goalie he has.
Our buddy Jimmy Young in the UP said Russia should be in. End of conversation. I agree with you. Austin agrees with us. He said, agree, Mike, want to see after the honeymoon period. That was exactly the term that I used when I was talking to Neil the other day. Like when I was doing Woodward Sports, I said, it's great. I'm engaged. I like Coach McClellan. They're engaged. Let's wait till the end of the month because this schedule picks up, and including a game against the Habs back at Little Caesars Arena. David also said likewise on February 1st for the wing scale. Two things before we get out of here. Mike and I, we are going to Traverse City tomorrow. So if you want to check it out on the State Champs Network, I'll be doing the play-by-play. He'll be doing color. We have 5 games this weekend. Mike, you ready?
Ooh, I'm ready.
4:00. We've got the Marquette Sentinels. Shout out Coach Garrow taking on the Forest Hills Central Rangers. Bay Reps taking on Midland Dow at 6:15 on Friday. Livonia Stevenson taking on Traverse City Central. That is the Legends game. Okay. Coach Givens, of course, at TCC, and Coach Mitchell at Livonia Stevenson. Heartland taking on Alpena, 4:30 in the afternoon on Saturday. Really looking forward to that. Look at our buddy Chuck. Hi. Chuck's going to be there as well. Hi, Chuck. I can't wait to draw some art on the State Champs fan windows. And he will too, Chuck. And then the finale for our broadcast and the finale of the whole fantastic tournament, the Rick Denwith Memorial North-South Showcase, Plymouth taking on Traverse City West at 6:45 on Saturday. Yep.
And I've just got one message. Whoever is driving that van, you better be on time and you better be ready to deliver me to Rare Bird Brewery, a gluten-free brewery in Traverse City for the kickoff of the Notre Dame Penn State game.
If it's 4:30 and it's about, what is it, about 3 hours and 15 minutes from where I live? Yeah, we'll be there right around kickoff.
Yeah, they better be here real tight to 4:00.
You know what we do, let's be honest. We could go to that beautiful place we stay. Remember they had that big TV?
I know.
And we'll have, like maybe have some barbecue waiting for us or something like that.
As long as we can Uber eat some of that gluten-free beverages.
We can do that.
We can do that? All right.
All right. Last thing, all about catering. LLC is a full-service caterer. Graduations, weddings, bridal showers, corporate events, anything you need catering for from 25 to 4,000 people. All About Catering can and will take care of you. Customer satisfaction is their number one goal. So do not sweat your next big event. Just go to allaboutcateringllc.com today to see their menus and all their 5-star reviews. Tell Rick that we sent you. He's going to take care of you like family. Trust me. 586-731-1398 to get your event started. All right, we got to go to the hockey game. We'll talk to you guys again next week. Bye-bye. God bless you. See ya.
What the Puck with Sean Baligian. Executive produced by Sean Baligian and Todd Losey. Theme song, incidental music, and related sound effects are from Always Pushing Forward by Elliot Middleton. Engineering, mixing, and graphic design support provided by the Unsyndicated Podcast team. Don't forget to like and subscribe on all your favorite channels. While you're there, be sure to rate and review the podcast. Got something to say to Sean? Call the Unsyndicated hotline at 248-237-3257.